Hey y'all, welcome back to Bearcats Daily. I am your host, Blake Thornton, aka Swiss Roll. I want to give a shout out to Fan Arch for making this show happen. And I want to thank you guys for watching because without you, there is no show. It's just basically a lifelong UC fan making a dork of himself talking to a camera. So I appreciate everyone tuning in and I hope you're enjoying the show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. Right now, weather's nice. It's getting warmer out and more consistently getting warmer out. So spring is coming and it's finally going to stay around. What that means for school is, guess what? Campus is wrapping up their spring semester. Finals are going on, and if you've still got finals to take, make sure you're studying, knock those out, and enjoy your summer. Wish you nothing but the best. Want to look across the street over into the baseball stadium. We do have a baseball team at UC. Good for them. They are still riding high as they've been the last couple years. Looking at this year, they are 16-6 at home, 11-11 on the road, and they're 9-11 in the conference. But they've got recent wins over West Virginia and Xavier, 5-2 over West Virginia, 15-5 over Xavier, and anytime you can stomp the crosstown rival, it's an absolute great day. I wish they had a football team so we could stomp them into the ground that much more, but unfortunately, they just weren't good enough and couldn't keep a team. So, is what it is. No one likes Xavier anyway. But in terms of the baseball, they got to finish strong. They're not going to win the Big 12, but as long as they handle their business moving out, they should get an at-large bid for the NCAA tournament, and they'll be cooking again in the dance. So, you know, shout out to them. I really hope they continue their success as they play through. And then we moved from a weekend that showed four of our former UC football players going to the show. Four players were drafted out of our 2026 class, headlined by Jake Golday. Jake Golday was our linebacker. He was taken 51st overall, going to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, that I think is a great place for him to end up. Brian Flores is the defensive coordinator there, and the man is a wizard at defense. I think it'll be an absolute opportunity for Luke to get in there, learn and develop, because he's still got some things he's got to work on. Now, he'll probably move in as like a Sam in the linebacking core. He runs a 4.62 40-yard dash. That is cooking, especially at 6'5", 230 pounds. So the man can move. He's got great, heavy, aggressive hands. That's going to be really good working on pass rushing when he blitzes the quarterback, where he tends to struggle, and I hope to see him develop long term, especially in the league, is his pass coverage. Not a lot of history of really just covering wide receivers, coming out of the slot, the tight ends. So if he can develop under Flores, he'll be working with Blake Cashman and Eric Wilson are the two veteran quarterbacks out there in Minnesota for him. So he's going to have a lot of knowledge around him, a lot of experience. He'll probably start out on special teams and then come in on some special coverage packages as a rookie. But if he works his tail off, and as we all know he can play, you'll see him be competing for the starting spot for sure. He can easily slide in there at the Sam and just be an absolute difference maker for the Vikings. So good for him. Excited for him. Congrats on getting drafted. It's always a good day to get drafted, except for one of our guys, which we'll get to here in a minute. Cyrus Allen taken at pick 176 in the 5th round, coming off a record-tying 13 touchdown season, and he will go to the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, not a bad team to go to. He's got a okay quarterback throwing to him and Patrick Mahomes. I really hope to see him excel out there and have a great NFL career. You had Gavin Gerhardt joining Golday at Minnesota. They drafted the center at pick 235 in the 7th round. He will be a backup there for the time being, but hey, he's in the show. He gets a chance to work and show what he's made of, and hopefully we'll see him as a starter there in Minnesota as well. So 2 Bearcats joining the Minnesota Vikings this year coming out of the 2026 draft. And of course, our tight end, Joe Royer, was also drafted in this draft. He was drafted at pick 170 in the 5th round to the Cleveland Browns. We'll just have a moment of silence for Joe Royer's career going to Cleveland. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Hey, he got drafted. He's going to play in the NFL. It's Cincinnati. We all know we think of Cleveland. If it's Brown, flush it down. I will still cheer for Royer. He's a UC guy. He's earned that right for sure. But man, talk about places you just don't hope you see a phone call from, and it's Cleveland. But hey, he's in the show. He gets an opportunity. He's getting a contract. I hope he balls out and eventually either comes home or goes somewhere that he's actually going to win a Super Bowl, because that ain't going to be in Cleveland. Not with Shadur quarterback. So, congrats to Golday, Allen, Gerhart, Royer, all getting drafted and moving on. I can't wait to see what they do in the NFL. And it's honestly, they made it to the top. Now they just got to climb to the top of the NFL. They were a 1%er, then they were 1% of that, and hopefully they can make a career that makes a lasting impact in the NFL and bring a lot more pride and joy to that UC name for being an alumni like some of the guys have in the past. Especially, I'm going to point out Sauce Gardner, Jason Kelsey, Travis Kelsey, excuse me. Don't want to start that. So, hey, congrats to them. They joined a bunch of Bearcats that have been drafted since 2021, and I really hope them nothing for the best moving forward. But we did have guys not get drafted. Now, what does it mean if a player does not get drafted? So, if a player does not get drafted, they become what is called an undrafted free agent. Now, your career does not end if you're not drafted. A good friend of mine was an undrafted player out of Boston College. Cincinnati boy, went to Boston College, did not get drafted, still wound up playing in a Super Bowl with the Arizona Cardinals. He played for the Patriots and the Seahawks. So these guys, just because they're not drafted, does not mean, hey, you're done, you're not in the show. That's not a problem at all. You still have opportunities. In fact, being an undrafted free agent is almost better than being a late round pick. You get better guarantees than late round draft picks through undrafted free agents. It gives you a little more room to work because there's no set contract amount, similar to how there is with draft picks. Typically, you know what you're going to make if you're drafted first, second, third, fourth. They've already kind of structured those contracts out for the players and teams to handle. Kind of takes away, a lot of those issues that come with it. We know that contract negotiations have kind of gone sideways with incoming rookies at times. So it really helps them do it. In 2025 last year, we had 57 undrafted free agents earn roster spots. So plenty of guys still get out there. I mean, you got 32 teams and 57 undrafted free agents made it. You're almost talking about 2 players per team that were undrafted made it. Nothing to be, upset about. Sucks not being drafted, but hey, things happen. The signing bonuses are much more significant, along with salary guarantees, than if they were like a 6th or 7th round draft pick. So nothing wrong there. We did have 3 guys go undrafted. Dante Corleone, the Godfather, was not drafted, unfortunately. Jeff Caldwell, wide receiver, did not get drafted. Jack Dingle, our linebacker, also not drafted. Now, it's not the end of the road for these guys. I mean, they're talented athletes. Jeff Caldwell is one of the best undrafted free agents out there, along with Dante Corleone, who is an absolute menace. But I really think due to his medical past with the blood clots and a bit of a slow senior season, I just think it was too much to overcome for the draft, because he did not work out at the Combine or at UC Pro Day. He did meet with teams. I personally think you'll see Dante Corleone sign with the Bengals. I'm going to put that out there right now. He had quite a few meetings with the Bengals. He did meet with them at the Combine as well. Now, Cincinnati, the Bengals, have shown a willingness to keep homegrown talent. For some reason, I guess the local guys, especially because they don't have a big scouting department, makes it a little easier to follow when they're close to home. So with the depth that the Bengals currently have at D-line, they are loaded. They went through free agency and revamped that defense. I think Corleone could be a great fit for them, and I really think he'll end up signing with the Bengals. He'll sign in. They get more depth at D tackle, and with him with that nose guard history, I think he could be a great backup for Dexter Lawrence. Now, granted, this is a homer talking. I am a fan of both teams, and I would love to see Corleone continue his career in Cincinnati. But just the dynamic that he has, it's going to be a bit of a gamble to sign him because we don't know where his health stands. Especially when he came back, he really didn't seem like himself necessarily. So It's a bit of a gamble, but I would love to see Corleone be on the Bengals, and I think it's definitely a possibility. Now, for Jeff Caldwell, wide receiver, and he's one of the hottest names right now in undrafted free agents. So, personally, where could he end up? Well, Miami needs receivers. Tyreek Hill might get arrested again or might retire midseason. We never know. Jalen Waddle went out of town. So, Miami needs some depth at the wide receiver position. I think Caldwell will be a great fit for that. He could also end up in Kansas City with his teammate, Cyrus Allen. Be a great 1-2 punch. Lord knows they need it. New York Giants could use somebody opposite Wan'Dale Robinson and Malik Neighbors. I think he could fit in well there. So there's a lot of options at wide receiver. Teams carry quite a few of them. So don't have any doubts he'll get signed. Miami is going to be my bet on where he ends up. So we'll just mark that, and when he signs, hopefully we're right. Odds are probably not, but hey, it's all right. We're allowed to be wrong here, right? And then you got Jack Dingle. So Jack, his name has not been thrown around much in the undrafted circle. He had, I believe, 3 workouts in front of the Bengals. Pro Day, Combine. I think they had one other. It was probably a meeting they had him with. But his name has been tied to the Bengals as well. So they already have 2 coming. Well, they're going to be sophomores this year for the Bengals, and Barrett Knight and Jackson Carter. So I don't necessarily know where he'd fit in maybe a practice squad role with them. They have quite a bit of depth at the linebacker position now. However, you can never have too much depth. So if another hometown guy is going to stay in Cincinnati, you know, if they go to college at UC, it's really cool to be able to see them play and then go 5 miles down the road and see them play in the jungle. So I'm hoping, he gets signed as well. Could be a Bengal. Trade in those Bearcat colors for some orange and black stripes. But probably where they're going to end up. It's going to be close. But as far as Corleone goes, I mean, he was graded as an 80.9 by Pro Football Focus as a run defender. That is top of that line for most defensive linemen, especially the tackles, interior guys, because runs and stopping is mostly on the interior. Your edge guys are going to do it as well, but for the most part, your edge guys are more your pass rushers, and you get a lot of run stoppage up the middle. So he's got the talent. He's just got the blood clot issues I think are still holding him back. I hope to see him get signed. He's definitely one of those guys that for sure can get in there. But, we talk about guys getting undrafted and making that push, getting picked up by teams as they continue forward. But, what's really next? What is next for these guys? And basically, it's the push to football season at this point, both professional and college. College is a little different in terms of what is going to happen as they move forward. Now, the NCAA requires teams to give 2 weeks. You got to have 2 weeks off. And it typically happens at the end of the spring semester before summer starts. They get 2 weeks off. A lot of the guys do stay around campus just because of, workouts and things like that. But with the 2 weeks off they get, hopefully they get to go home, see some family, spend time with them, get a mental reset before they come back for the summer classes and summer workouts. Now, just because it's 2 weeks, some schools give more. Division I tends to be a little stricter with it because they are working nonstop through the summer for classes and their conditioning workouts. They call them voluntary workouts, but let's be honest. If you're wanting to get better, if you're wanting to play in the show and, advance your career, you're going to go to those workouts. The voluntary always comes in quotations, just like they're basically being voluntold to do it. They're really working on agility, weight training, speed. So basically, we're not necessarily focusing on, game plans and coverages and what we're trying to basically build as a team in terms of play calling, things like that. But we're really it's solely focused on bettering yourself as a player, getting that speed up, that strength, agility. It's all conditioning, getting prepared for fall. Because once fall starts and you get into camp, there's not a whole lot of time necessarily for conditioning. It's built into the practice. You run to your other stations, you're going to be scrimmaging, you'll get your workouts in, but a lot of that work is done in the off season these days. Talked with the former kicker for UC, Alex Bales, in terms of what they had, and UC was a little more, what's the right word? more casual with the break time. He said, they almost got 3 weeks during his time at UC before he transferred out to Oregon. So they're going to get some time off before coming back. Their summer classes are taken by these guys. It helps kind of lighten the academic load during the season. So they'll have the classes. They will be going into workouts and getting ready for fall camp. Late July, camp kicks off. So we are right there in terms of football season, and I can't wait. I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited to get to football seasons. And this draft just kind of, it just heightened that mood. It's time. It's time to go. So I cannot wait for football season. So I appreciate you guys joining me today. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. Leave your thoughts and comments in there for me. Would love to get some feedback. Maybe a little, if you have questions, I'll happily answer them. Or if you even have hot takes or thoughts yourself, I would love to read them on the show, respond to them, and kind of basically get a little back and forth with y'all. So until next time, I'm Blake Thornton, and I appreciate y'all joining. See ya.